This is Recovery Live Global. I'm your host, Jesse Washington, and I have with me in the studio today Mr. Jonathan Williams from Lake Ridge Village. Man, you in for a treat today, man. We got what do you call that? Generations of recovery talk. His dad, now him. I don't know, baby boomer, millennial, what Gen Z. I mean, we gonna talk about this recovery on multiple genres. And I have with me today Mr. Jonathan Williams that's going to talk to us about recovery.
The opioid epidemic still exists across all zip codes and without boundary, but there is hope, and there is help. The Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network offers treatment, prevention, and recovery resources for those struggling with addiction. Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network has trained clinicians that will talk with you and get you connected to the help that you need. We will help you on your recovery journey. Call us anytime, 24/7 at 800-241-4949. We are here to talk, here to help.
We're back. Recovery Live Global. We're here today, as I mentioned, with Mr. Jonathan Williams from Lake Ridge Village. They're doing great things in the community. I like it, what they're doing. I've been following them for a while now. They've been moving. They movers and shakers, and I want to call them a trailblazer in the program. I happen to have the son. I talked with the pops a few days ago, and man, the chip don't fall from the tree. And so I want to really dig in, because we want to know what's really going on in the community as it relates to recovery. When I was looking at your profile, I synced you guys covering a lot of layers of recovery. I seen women, I seen men, I seen domicile, I seen outpatient, I seen residential, I seen housing. Oh man, it's just so many layers. That's a lot. No, you talking about almost from you're not doing the detox part though, right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we're getting close to, we're trying to get to that point and advance our capability of doing inpatient.
Okay.
But right now, yes, women's specialty, housing, recovery supports, and then we also do a lot of outreach. So on Wednesdays, we give out food to the community we have a partnership with Forgotten Harvest. So when on those Wednesdays, you see a line of people, that's when we reach out and get them. Some join the program or just come for food. So we're doing it all, man.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And then you got multiple sites.
Yes.
I remember it was a site it's a site on Finkel, there's a site on Puritan, and then you talked about something new in the making. Let's talk about that part.
So right now, what we're working with is officially 2 sites. One you mentioned is Finkel. That's where a majority of, we kind of call that the headquarters. That's where the males live at, and then some of the day programming occurs at. You have Fairfield, that's over on the Livernois Puritan area, where that's a lot of, it's a very fluid facility. So we have women and children there, we have some males there, we have some individuals that are just in outpatient, some individuals that are just paying for housing. And then on that same block, we have about 4 to 8 houses on that block as well. So we kind of created extended exit program, so to speak. So once they complete the program, some of them have the opportunity to live in a house for upwards of 1 to 2 years, depending on, it's a case by case. But what we're working on is a 3rd facility now. And that's where we're trying to up our housing capability to, right now we're about between 80 and 100 people we can house. With another facility, you're talking about possibly 150 to 180, maybe 200. So that's going to really take the company to another level.
Yeah, I like that too, because as you know, substance abuse and use and misuse is not going to stop.
No.
You know, I wish it would.
In a perfect world.
In a perfect world, but it won't stop. And you got individuals that's DUIs,
Yes.
OWIs. I mean, they just go to Red Lobsters. You know what I'm saying? And order some shrimp and lobsters, and order one of those little drinks with the umbrella and the fruits and all of that stuff in. But inside of that fruit drink, there is alcohol in it.
Right.
And if you're not careful, you could order you a fruit drink and a fruit drink and a fruit drink, and you know Red Lobsters is on the outskirts.
Right.
And so you could fool around and get profiled, and the next thing you know,
You find yourself in a situation.
you find yourself in a situation, and now you're looking at DUI and OWIs, and you facing courts, and the judge don't know the difference between the layers of the judge don't know recreation from experiment. He don't know abuse from dependency or chronicity. He don't know none of those layers. He just say go get you some treatment.
Exact. Yes.
And now you got people that's coming knocking on the doors, calling the 1-800 number, 1-800-241-4949 through the DWIN system, and placed in treatment, and here we go. Here we go.
Right.
And thank God that you guys have the facilities to provide that, man.
Right.
That's a good thing, man, what you're doing.
And the biggest thing too is what we found is that's what birth recovery supports in the first place. They were getting treatment, but then they go out and they were finding they're relapsing left and right because the housing they would be at is not safe, or the family members are using. So that's actually for the most part, that's what makes my father a pioneer in this, because he was one of the first to start in Wayne County the transitional housing with recovery supports.
Okay.
So housing is something that, as a child, I was watching him. I've been around addiction since I was a child as he was building the company. So one of the core foundations that we drive at Lake Ridge is necessities. It's hard to be, I don't want to say I can't, but it's hard to be clean if I don't have housing. If my finances are not set, if everything that every normal human being needs, the individuals in addiction need that as well. And if they can't secure that, it's hard to, maintain your sobriety at that point. So housing is just a foundation, and that's what we believe in at Lake Ridge.
Yeah, I've been pushing that abstinence from all mood-altering chemicals don't equal recovery.
You know that.
I've been kind of pushing that nowadays. I'm getting a lot of pushback.
Right.
Because abstinence don't equal
recovery.
Real and true recovery, because recovery is the holistic approach, because you got environment, that's part of it. Finances, part of it. Emotions, part of it. Housing, part of it. Social part of it. I mean, there's so many. They got a term called the 8 dimensions of wellness that they kind of pushing around now. And what we're trying to do now is get individuals in sobriety in all 8 dimensions. And I like what you guys is doing over at Lake Ridge, because you guys are addressing that. And then you got your place open for AA and NA and some of these other support groups. Your doors is open that you allowing the facility to actually be used by people that's in recovery that could help people that's through the recovery processes. That place been doing that for a lot of years. That place is known for support for recovery for a lot of years.
One of the core foundations that I've learned as before I took on COO, I was a therapist.
Okay.
So, and then I usually say I've been around the block, I just didn't go down the street.
Okay.
So there's some lived experience that is not from a book.
Okay.
But I say that to say, as I was in my career, I just noticed, and you're talking about grassroots, dealing with the community, a lot of individuals judge our clients, and they have viewpoints on them, the classic, why can't you just stop? And when you really dive into these individuals' lives and you start understanding the level of traumas, the mental health issues, the experiences, and then the social issues they face, poverty, housing. I found that when those individuals lived, and I'm basing this a lot off of Fairfield when we were really grassroots, these individuals don't have a mom or a father or a cousin, a brother, a sister that give them deep levels of support, and then have the knowledge of what addiction is to give them the education on what you are dealing with. And as these individuals lived in our housing, another corner piece of this was spirituality, and not religion, spirituality, and the human connection of when I go into this Fairfield facility, there's someone that cares about me. Okay. There's someone that, hey, how are you doing? Or they know me so well that they know my behaviors. Wait a minute, this isn't you. What's going on? Right. And when we reflect on our own personal lives, I remember having a mother highly supportive during my best or my worst times. And that's helped me accomplish my trials and tribulations. But what about individuals that don't have that level of support? And they're doing it alone. And then, as we know, the substance use is the side effect of what's really going on. Right. So if I'm alone, I don't have any support. And then let's say I'm dealing with financial hardships, or my children are in some situations, or I'm dealing with stressful circumstances, there's no one really I can call. Or when I go home, there's no one like, are you okay? None of that. And that's where that thought to use to escape that feeling. Okay. So from my viewpoint, the housing and the support services 24/7 is a key to help these individuals, especially early on in recovery, as we try to build them up, to be able to handle the stresses of life on their own a little bit.
So you guys have case managers?
Case managers.
To link and coordinate individuals with other support service that they may need?
Yes.
And I'm told you got the peer recovery coaches.
Yes.
That's there to walk alongside individuals, take them to a meeting, walk them to the doctor, take them for the whole. I mean, people with lived experiences.
Yes.
And I think that was a genius that came up, that we need peer recovery coaches as well as the clinicians and the professionals to work with these individuals like this. I think when you tag team it up
together is a powerful solution to help.
Yeah, and some of these coaches know the language.
And that's what
Not only do they know the language, they know when you're full of it.
Yeah.
And they can call you out on your stuff.
And you know, with the recovery coaches too, and that's why, you know, I hold a MSW, certified advanced alcohol drug counselor, these credentials, but one of the main credentials that I hold dear to my heart is certified peer recovery coach. Okay. And I say that because I do believe they are the cornerstone, the foundation of how we really trying to get true change out of individual. And when it comes to, I'm speaking from I'm a therapist, and we sit and talk and we do all, but I'm telling you, when it's 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, and that client is something happened or their mental health, or they got triggered, they get that phone and they call their peer recovery coach. And that's where that foundation, that's where I believe peer coaches, you have to have peer coaches in this system.
Yeah, that's a major piece right there. And now they're putting peer coaches everywhere. I mean, they got them they put them in the hospitals. Yeah. They put them in the treatment centers. They putting them in the schools. They putting them. Hey, we need them in church.
Yeah, no, seriously.
I mean, because people. I mean,
the lived experience.
Well, maybe I should say we need them at the church, but we do.
No, I will say this one thing, and this is another thing I will say about Pastor and with the program that I think is very unique is, you know, the headquarters at Finkel, it was the church as well. So it was an old school. So everything downstairs, he modified it into just complete housing for the clients downstairs. So that's where that's the male facility. But I say that because in terms of a symbol, and you having church leaders step in and provide services on a clinical level. We're accustomed to churches, community, events and servicing and providing food. But once you get down to this is a facility that is connected to a church, but they have a clinical program where they have social workers, peer recovery coaches, case managers, educated individuals that know how to work with people. I think that's a major symbol to the community, and to start having our faith-based leaders too step into this.
D. Wynn have a component called faith-based.
Yeah.
They faith-based initiative, it birthed about 10, maybe 10, 11, 12 years ago. And I'm noticing that piece is kind of important.
It is.
One of the dimensions of wellness is spirituality. And I like that piece because certain things, it's going to take a spiritual intervention in order to, when you get to the point where ain't nothing you could do.
You're hopeless.
Ain't no mama, ain't no daddy, ain't no gun, ain't no nothing. Ain't nothing you can do. And then some information throughout our journey of life that we could be told that it ain't nothing you can do about it. The doctor come in your room and shake his head. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
those moments.
he come in the room and shake it, and I tell you, you better not say it, you better not say it. And he said, I need to inform you of such and such and such, and that type of a news you don't want to hear.
Right.
And then when you hear that type of a news, I think that spiritual component is important, because now it can give you hope in a dark, dead, dingy situation. I could have some hope in that situation. And I tell you something, hope will carry you where
it's spiritual,
your legs can't take. Your legs can't take you. And I like the idea that you guys are doing recovery services, and you also, it's in a church building.
Yes.
And so some of the individuals that's participating in the recovery services can walk over and participate in the spiritual part of the building too. And it's their choice. It ain't mandated.
It's not mandatory.
You ain't saying you gotta go, gotta go. You just open the door and say if you would like. And the door's open. And a lot of them get up, them brush their hair and just walk over there and run into spirituality. I've been doing a lot of research and things about that. And I was trying to find, on my own private time, dope in the Bible and stuff like that. And for a long time.
Where they address those things.
And I was trying, and I went to Galatians. I went to Galatians chapter 5, around 20 and 21. And the text said those that practice these things would not inherit the kingdom of God. And then it labeled them. And one of the things that it labeled was witchcraft and sorcery. And the New Testament was written in Greek, and the Old Testament was written in Hebrew. So I brought my deep Greek dictionary out and looked up the word witchcraft. And guess what it was?
What is it?
Pharmakeia. Pharm. K-I. And anytime you see the word P-H-A-R-M, it's pharmaceutical. Well, they used to call them drugstores, They just changed them to pharmacies and things like that. So it's in there. It's in there. So, man, this is...
think about just the original name of alcohol, spirits. Distilled spirits. So there's been...
I was going to Red Lobster. It's a food and spirits. Come on in.
Come on in. And when you really strip that down to its core and you look at, especially with alcohol, and then some of the worst things has happened when individuals are intoxicated. That's why a pastor always goes into the spiritual side. And even down to when an individual has you're at your last leg, you got to go into treatment. You need a detox. It's time. You're hopeless. You're feeling defeated. That in itself is a spiritual issue. And what we try to use with the churches, and I think another powerful piece with that, And I keep using symbols because with our community members, especially our clients, if I can't trust you, it's done. We're not even you're if I can't even, they won't even let you in through the front door. And when you're talking about institutions like the church that some individuals still revere and respect and have some a sense of trust in there, I walk in a church and here's a pastor in his sermon talking about mental health. Or here's a pastor talking about make sure that you go take medications. When you go into his sermons, and I got to tell him, and I got to give it to him, the way they have those discussions, the clients hear that is so real in the sermon, and he's still giving you biblical teachings. But it's when you walk in there, they feel like they're at home.
Yeah.
And it's comfortable for them. And then they start looking around and they see their peers in there. They see, man, okay. And it makes you comfortable.
Yeah, that was a pastor I heard came up with a matter of fact, DWIN and they faith-based initiative came up with a statement called Faith Plus. You know, like prayer plus,
Right.
faith plus.
Right.
You know what I'm
Didn't play
saying?
on words,
So a
yeah.
lot of times prayer don't. Sometimes you got to get up off your prayer knees and do something. And faith without
without
works is dead. So sometimes you got to move. You got to not
gotta
only
make
you got to
steps.
do faith, but your faith should do something.
Exactly.
Do something. And so yeah, it's
But as you know,
more
in
than
the
that.
church too, sometimes you know you have some of those believers that is just pure faith, no action steps. You're still going to have the issue that you're facing.
Then you got to watch some of the spiritual leadership that says
Statement.
pray only.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So they'll say, well, just pray about it, pray about it, pray about it. Don't go to the hospital. Don't call 1-800 number.
Right,
Don't go see
right.
D-Win. Don't do none of that. Just pray, 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 pray. And like you say, prayer without works is
Faithful that
dead.
word. And I think I really
I asked that preacher though, give me them. Can I have them glasses you got on? Now he couldn't understand that people needed this, but he needed glasses to read, and it was beyond his faith. So he
Right.
went to see an optometrist,
Right.
and they put some glasses on him to help him read, but he couldn't get it. That a person may need some help with their substance use disorders and mental health orders, but he needed help with his eyesight, his vision, by going to get some glasses.
Right.
I think it's a good place that we can pause for just a minute, and we'll be right back. We're here with Jonathan Williams, Lake Ridge Village Treatment Facility in Detroit, Michigan, Wayne County. We'll be right back.
So the primary objective of the mobile units is to provide crisis intervention, stabilization, and de-escalation techniques to individuals of all ages experiencing a crisis in a community. Individuals may not be able to access certain services due to their insurance status, but with these units, we can help people regardless of their insurance status. And pretty much our goal is to provide individuals with immediate support and care right in their community, removing different barriers such as transportation. In that regard, we come to them. We can meet them anywhere they are in the community in Wayne County. So it can be in their home, it can be at their school, it could be at their local church, it can be at a park. Wherever they are in crisis, we are there to support. These mobile units are different because we are able to go where people are and give them services and support where they are most comfortable. So we're able to go to their homes, we can go to their schools, we can go to their local church, we can go to a community center. Wherever they are in crisis, we are able to go to them, removing that barrier of transportation.
Now they can call us, we can go right out and give that person the services that they really need. A lot of people do things because of it's their job, but I believe everyone on this team, on the mobile crisis team, this is their purpose, to reach out to other individuals that are going through crisis. Just because you're going through a crisis at that moment, don't mean that you'll stay there the rest of your life.
Hi, I am Katrina Barnes, and you're watching Recovery Live Global.
We are back with Recovery Live Global. Man, Recovery Live Global is on the move. We on the move. We on the move, man. We've been interviewing providers such as Jonathan Williams, who have multiple treatment facilities in Wayne County and doing great things for the community. And that's what we want to do. We want to highlight what's going on in the communities, man. Who doing what? You know, I turn on the news and, man, all I hear is, I want to turn it off.
Right.
But this is a news station, man, that you want to turn it on and you want it to go on and on and on and on. And you can call people and tell them to tune in to Recovery Live Global. And it's global. It's a global audience here. It's all over the world, you know. And so that's what we're doing. And I like to pause for a minute to say, ooh wee. When you hear ooh wee, what you think about?
Some good food.
Some good food. Yeah. We just talked about food at Red Lobsters too.
Did.
Man, them biscuits. Man, shoot. I've been trying to get the recipe to them doggone biscuits, man, and can't find it. I got to go to the spot, Red Lobster, to get them biscuits. And my wife love it, man.
Man, I got 3 kids, so they help me, man. They make good food, and then it's economical too. So you're not bringing an arm and a leg.
Yeah. So when you think of ooh wee, it stands for EWWI, Ecclesia Without Walls International.
Wow.
So when you see ooh wee out there, that's me.
Oh, that's a good, okay.
Yeah, so when you start, it's coming. I mean,
that's a good play.
What I'm saying is, it's out there now. So when you see EWWI, I mean, type it anywhere, and it'll pop up. You'll see. That's me.
That's gonna see you.
Ecclesia Without Walls International. That is a church with no walls on it. Ain't no address, ain't no walls, ain't none of that. And you can just come in and be blessed. If you're out there and you want to support Recovery Live Global, you might want to give us a call and say, you know, I got a story. I'm in the community. I'm doing great things. And we can bring the cameras to you. We can bring you to the studio, however you want to do it. And we can put your information out there, the good news and the good thing. That's why Recovery Live birthed for that reason, is to make recovery known on a global platform. When you're thinking about it, Mr. Williams, man, I'm glad you came, man.
I couldn't say no.
Man, you didn't touch the prison part.
Oh man,
you didn't even touch that.
We're
guys,
in the jails. We're in the jails
you forgot about that.
I showed.
But I heard y'all in the jail, man. Y'all in the prison. Y'all doing stuff. Y'all
actually,
y'all hitting on a lot of
man. You just reminded that. So, in terms of the criminal justice side of things, we have definitely made huge strides getting into helping that population. One of the main programs that we're able to do with Wayne County, the county jail, is we have peer coaches in one of our MSWs go into the jail, and pretty much we call it a treatment readiness program. And what that is the judge, they have to complete that program to be able to get out. So that's already some incentive.
So ain't nobody missing group.
No one's missing group. They actually get mad at us if the staff is sick or something. Where you guys at? But treatment readiness program is core foundation is preparing the client for the journey of what treatment is. And for one, and I think that's huge because some of these individuals, especially in criminal justice, you mentioned before you get a DUI, some of these individuals never been in a treatment setting. Never dealt with a therapist before, never sat in front of someone and opened up their lives and talked. And that's, and for a lot of communities and cultures, I know how I was raised. We don't go down to them folk and tell our business. So you're dealing with a lot of that. And what our staff does in there is discuss what is trauma. What is mental health? What is a mental illness, to open the guys' minds, especially in a vulnerable state like that. Being in jail is vulnerable.
Oh, yeah.
And you're in there, and there's a natural part of you of trying to figure out what I need to change or what I need to do, hopefully for most of them in there. And in that program, we're trying to drive the motivation to plant the seed for you to start your journey to grow. We're not opening up the Pandora's box or trying to, because there's only so long we can do. And then on top of that, this partnership I hold very dear to my heart is actually it's where I met my wife from, 36th District Specialty Court.
Okay.
So she was a case manager there, and she was a case manager, Judge Holmes. So you mentioned actually the courts and judges not understanding substance use and all that. Judge actually has a team where anyone that fits the criteria of substance use is placed on her docket, and pretty much it's a specialty court where, probation, they make you drop or see your PO once a month. You have to go to a treatment provider and do some counseling. You got to go to groups. And they have a whole program centered on helping those individuals that DUI, OWI, possession, the individuals downtown that may be highly intoxicated. They're streaming them to providers like myself to help them. So
that's a good thing.
Yeah, man.
They used to just drop you off.
Yeah,
bus ticket, just drop you off downtown at the bus station, and you figure it out.
And then back then too, with back then they just, hey, did you go drop, and did you go talk to that counselor for anger management? And it's just a check off. What they do, they want to see the treatment plan. They review the notes. They review to see if they hold the providers accountable too. Are you guys doing what this client needs? So I really hold that partnership. 36th District Specialty Court, Judge Holmes. That's under Chief Mechanical too. We hold them very dear to us.
Wow. So you guys working with the penal system, you working with the with the women, you working with substance abuse, outpatient, housing. There's so many layers to treatment, and that's the holistic approach to it. So as many layers as you can provide, the better you're going to be successful, and it's going to be less recidivism or relapse. Relapse in substance abuse, recidivism as it relate to the penal system. And so that's you guys doing some good stuff over there, man.
Yeah, man. And I think the biggest piece too with the housing end is driving, at least for the housing providers. Now, I'm not sitting here saying let our clients, behavior is always a difficult part of the business. So you got clients with mental health issues, and sometimes they engage in some behaviors that place them to be discharged or sent to another level of care. But however, when you speak of relapse and things of that nature, we're talking about trying to get individuals to live a life of recovery for the rest of their days. And early on, what we try to do at Lakeridge is we're not saying we're allowing you to use and do what you do, but if you had a slip up, and also you were an outpatient, so the counselor knows what you're battling, knows what you're dealing with. Even while we're early in recovery, family members might pass, finances still are happening, and these individuals are battling it while trying to do it newly sober. That's not easy to do, and if that happens, we address it in a holistic way where, no, we're not putting you out.
Man.
No, we're going to work with you.
And then with your different layers of services,
we'll send you here.
You can move them to another layer of services, all under the same roof, all under the same umbrella. Man.
And that's support. And that's where that piece of what I'm for, at least for the new generation, for once things are passed to me, is advancing our capability of housing individuals upwards into the 200s, like I mentioned with the third building, but creating a system of housing where continue to live your life and join our groups, see your therapist, but live your life. But if something happens, you could call it, we're here.
We're here.
And that's family, and that helps someone continue to live the life of recovery. So that's...
Man, I thank you, brother.
I appreciate you for having us
Jonathan
out here.
Williams. CEO, no, not CEO.
COO right now.
COO.
I don't know if I want CEO yet.
Lake Ridge Village. We thank you, man,
I appreciate
for coming
you.
and sharing with us some of the things that you guys are doing in the community, man. And we need other providers to come on and talk about what they're doing in the community too. We're reaching out now to prevention providers.
Yeah.
We've been interviewing treatment providers and outpatient treatment. Now I want to knock on the door of the prevention providers. If you out there and you're a prevention provider with DWIN, or you got a prevention provider agency or organization, let us know. And we would like to bring our team in and see what's happening on the prevention side, because there's so many layers to recovery.
They're part of the network.
If you could prevent, then you ain't got to get to. And I believe preventive medicine and preventive things, that's another whole show.
That's a whole nother ball.
That's another whole show called prevention. So this has been another segment of Recovery Live Global. Stay tuned, look, share, forward, Recovery Live Global. And I'll see you next week.